I think Zayas versus Boots Ennis is going to be a big fight. I think it could be fight of the year candidate. Uh, what do you think? Do you think it could be fight of the year candidate? Do you think this fight can be competitive, or is it just going to be one sided, like a lot of boxing experts are calling it in favor of Boots Ennis?
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be fight of the year candidate. It is a big fight, because they're fighting for the belts, and I think it is. I think it will be competitive. I think it will be a competitive fight. But if you ask me who I think I edge or who I think would win, I would be lean more towards Boots Ennis.
Why is that?
I've been covering Boots Ennis ever since my Showtime Showbox days, and I remember him from the beginning when I saw him, and I just thought he was very skillful, man, very smart. High boxing IQ. I hate to use that because it's repetitive, but he's in control in the ring. When he fights at his pace, he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to dominate any kind of fighter. He adapts to any kind of style, whether the guy is coming forward or the guy's coming going backwards. He adjusts. He makes the right adjustments. I like the way he moves inside the ring with his footwork. How he suddenly just switches from right to left, left to right. He's punching from different angles. He's got good speed. Real good footwork. He's fast on his feet. He's got respectable power. He's just overall a smart guy. I think he's got the goods, man. He's got all the ingredients to be the top guy, to be one of the top guys. I don't know. I don't know if he is, but I think he's better than Zayas. I think not taking anything away from Zayas. Again, Zayas. He's a champion for a reason. I still think he needs to be polished more. He's still young. He's 23, but he's a big one. I think he's a big 154 pounder, and I think he needs to use his. If anything, he needs to use his size and his power when he fights Boots Ennis. I don't think he should allow Boots to dictate the pace of the fight. He's got to make the fight whenever they do fight.
Well, I think the problem is that everyone says Boots Ennis has more power. So if that's the case, then don't you think Zayas needs to move?
No, I don't think Zayas has got to move. I think, like I said, I think Zayas has got to approach him with power and pressure and his strength. I think he might be the stronger guy and he might have more power, but sometimes that doesn't win the fight. You got to use it. You got to be intelligent in there and know how to use that power and that pressure. Obviously he's got to apply pressure intelligently. Be aware of that you're fighting a guy that is very accurate with his punches and he's throwing punches from different angles and he's smart. He's got good footwork. He's very intelligent in there. Talking about Boots Ennis, so I think Sayas needs to rough him up early, man. Go to the body, hit him in the arms, just try to push him back because if you allow Boots to think and let him fight his pace, I think he's gonna dominate you. I think he's faster. I think he's got a higher boxing IQ. He's smarter in there. His footwork, the way he attacks from different angles. He's lefty. He's righty. He's lefty. 3 and 4 punch combinations. Um, if you let him dictate the pace of the fight, he's gonna do what he does and be Boots Ennis. And I think Sayas needs to get him off of that. Don't let him fight his pace. Push him back and bully him and be rough with him, man. Good body attack early on and just push him back. Don't allow him to think and go from there. I mean, that's what I think he needs to do. I don't think Sayas needs to be weighing around too much. And when I say pressure him and bully him and push him back, I don't mean just Mexican style boxing. I mean being smart, being responsible with your defense when you're coming in. You got to be, a lot of feints, a lot of subtle, movements left, right, a lot, jabbing in, bobbing and weaving, and go in there and do some damage. That's what I think he needs to do. I don't think he needs to be weighing on him.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, if you don't remember, Roman Villa tried to rough up Boots Ennis, and we saw what happened there.
I was very Roman Villa. You seen him fight? We covered him on Showbox too. That dude is like strong, dude. Like real strong. When I saw him, like he was destroying guys. And what happened with Boots? Boots just dominated him, bro. Like just that's how good he is. Because his skills, his skill level. Uh, he made Villa look like that saying. There's levels to the game, and that he showed you the level of fighter he is because Villa was just brute strength. Not really too savvy. Like boxing, high boxing IQ, just brute strength, kind of Mexican style boxing. Even though he's not Mexican, but power, heavy handed. But a guy like that is not gonna be that kind of guy. Is not the guy that's gonna beat Boots Ennis. Not that kind of guy. So, people say, he had the rematch with the Karen guy. Maybe
Yeah,
the Karen guy hit him here and there, but I mean, sometimes fighters get comfortable, and they get hit with punches. They're like, this guy's not gonna beat me. They don't really rise up to the occasion. And yeah, he took some shots, but I mean, look, in 24 rounds that they fought, at the most, in my opinion, Karen might have won 3 rounds out of 24 rounds when he fought Boots Ennis. I don't know if you agree with me, but I mean, Boots still dominated him and beat him. Stanones, that was a good fighter too. Uh, he had a big amateur background, was an Olympian, big amateur career, and you saw what Boots did with him. And not to take anything away from Zayas, Zayas, beat some pretty decent guys too. The Mexican guy, what was his name? Perez. I was impressed by Perez, and he beat him, and then he beat that German guy. Uh, I can't pronounce his name, Baru or something, Baru,
Baru.
Baru.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good fight, and that German guy had a big amateur background too. He was not a bad fighter, but none of them, in my opinion, none of them have the skill set, the smartness, the savvy, the wit, just it's hard to fight a guy like that, like Boots Ennis. None of them have that. And like I said, I think Zayas is probably getting that fight because he's got belts too. He's got the belt, right? Or
yeah,
belts? Is it for one belt or two belts?
two.
Two belts. Yeah, he's got two belts. And they're trying to unify the division.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the guy that Fundora, that's my guy. That's the guy that could give Boots some problems. I think Fundora has improved a lot. Even though he fought Keith Thurman last time, a lot of people thought Keith Thurman was gonna win, dude. And do you know what? I'm putting it out there and I'm being cocky about it because a lot of ex-fighters and writers thought Keith Thurman was gonna win. I said, man, Fundura's gonna destroy him. There's no way. There's no way. 37 years old, and it's just not the same. I've been there before. When I fought Arthur Abraham, I beat a guy named Giovanni Lorenzo to get that fight with uh, Arthur Abraham, but Arthur Abraham was an animal, dude, and that's Fundura was Thurman's animal that night. Sebastian Fundura he's the real deal, man. I think he has improved a lot. He's gotten better, with his defense ever since he got knocked out by Mendoza. That was a surprise knockout. Mendoza, I gotta give it to him. He caught him, but Fundura is not that Fundura anymore. He's gotten better. He's smarter. His defense. I like him. I think him and Boots. That's the fight. And then who's the other champion? Josh Kelly, I believe. There's Josh Kelly.
And
Uh oh, Virgil Ortiz.
Virgil.
Virgil. That's man. I don't know. Although I like Fundura. I think Fundura is the guy, and I like Boots. I like Virgil too. We gotta see those fights. We gotta see those fights. And you never Zayas, I'm not gonna take anything away from him because I don't want people to start talking shit that oh man, I don't support not that's just my opinion from what I know. I think it's a little bit too early. He's 23 years old. He's still a little bit he needs more seasoning, you know. But he's got two belts, so I don't blame him. Even if he loses, He's still young, and it depends how he loses. If he gives, or he might not lose. I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously, he wants to win, but he's young enough to take a loss and learn from that loss and still get better because he's only 23 years old. So yeah, that it's a good opportunity for him to accomplish something that's huge. At 23, he's Puerto Rican. The Puerto Rican fans, they love their fighters, but I think he's not ready for this moment yet. I don't think he is, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think he is. And if he is, it'll give him time to learn. A loss is not gonna hurt him at this stage of his career.
Or let's say Zayas gets knocked out cold. What happens to Zayas?
I still, back to the drawing board. I mean, it depends. I mean, I honestly, I don't think he'll get knocked out cold. Can he get a beating? Can he get dominated for 12 rounds by Boots? Yeah, that's very possible. But him getting knocked out cold, I don't see that. I don't see that. And if he does, hey, you take some time off and you recoup and come back. It all depends. But I don't wish that upon him, and I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think Boots will knock him out cold. No, because I don't think Boots is that kind of that knockout guy. You know what I mean? I don't think he's that kind of fighter. Can he get complete outboxed and dominated and just unanimous decision? Yeah, that's very possible. That's what I think. I see. That's probably what's going to happen. That's what I think.
Can Boots Ennis carry that power? Everyone talks about his power now that he's moved up. Like, yeah, okay, he knocked out Lima in 1 round, but Lima is nothing compared to.
Well, like I said, Boots has never been a knockout. I don't consider him a knockout artist. So even if he carries the power or not, I don't think his career is based. I mean, his style is based on his power. I think his style is based more of it on his skills, his footwork, his movement, his the way he switches from right to left, left to right, and he gives you angles. His boxing IQ, his smartness, and like I said, he's got respectable power. He's got enough power to get respected. And even if he doesn't, he makes up with it. He makes up for it with his combination punching. He's when somebody's hitting you for different angles, you don't know where they're coming from, man. 3 or 4 punch combinations, that messes you up. That makes you lose balance and it's very tricky. It's a style that's very tricky. So I don't think he. I'm not gonna base his style on power. He doesn't depend just on power. He's got a lot of other qualities in his arsenal in his game. That make Boots Ennis. And he's so relaxed inside the ring. He's been in the gym since he's 4 or 5 years old. You've seen all the stories. So he's at home when he's inside the ring. That's his game, and he's a high level fighter, a high level boxing IQ fighter that knows boxing, knows what he's doing inside the ring.
What do you say to those Zayas fans that say he has better footwork than Boots Ennis?
I mean, he does have good footwork, but not better than Boots Ennis. No, you can't compare. He does, and he's got that, the Puerto Rican style of boxing, and I just, he knows how to box, kind of like Miguel Cotto, that kind of style. Like he comes forward, he attacks, comes forward. Like most Puerto Ricans fight that way. A lot of Puerto Ricans fight, they have that style, but he's not. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't. I don't think he's got the speed. He might have more power, but I don't think he's got the footwork, speed. The ring IQ, the intelligence that Boots has. I don't see it, man. But it, he's only 23. This fight could bring him out. Maybe we'll see something. If he really is that special guy, then we'll see it. I just don't think he's that guy yet. He's younger. I mean, it's been done. Younger guys have done it before, but I just don't think he's the guy. And I respect him. He's a champion. He put in the time. Like everybody, he's a world champion, but he's not at Boots level. He's not.
So, in other words, you think that Zayas is making the same mistakes that Fernando Vargas made?
It's a big commitment. No, I'm not gonna compare Boots to Felix Trinidad. Felix Trinidad was, man, the power. He was carrying bricks in his hands. I mean, come on, and we saw what he did to Fernando. I mean, that's why Fernando's how he is nowadays. From that fight. That fight destroyed him, man. That fight changed his life, dude. He doesn't even remember that fight. If you talk to him, I don't know if you heard the story. He doesn't even talk about it. He don't remember what happened. He got hurt early on, and he got back up. Had they stopped the fight right there, it would have been better for Fernando. But he continued to get beat down round by round by round, and then he got stopped in the whatever round it was later on in the fight, and that destroyed his career, man. He's never been the same, and it's boxing. It's boxing. It's sad. It's a sad sport, but it's a beautiful sport too because it's done a lot for me. But um, I don't know. I'm not gonna compare Zayas to Felix Trinidad. There's no way.
So what do you say? What do you say to those Boots fans that say Zayas is over his head, that he should have never took this fight? Don't you think this is a good fight, a good thing for boxing? Because we don't see too many young fighters taking big fights like this.
No, it is a good thing. I like that. It's good for Boots. Because he's making the fights that people want to see. Well, and what Zayas has the belts. It's all about the belts. And I'm glad that you have a young, hungry guy like Zayas that is willing to fight uh, a world champion like Boots with all the talents that he has. That I'm glad that he has the guts, the drive to at 23 years of age, he's got two belts and believe that he could beat a guy like Boots. That's what makes boxing. If he does and he rises to that occasion, and maybe we'll see something that we never seen out of Sayas in that fight. Maybe he could press the action. Maybe he is stronger than Boots and has more power and overwhelms them and just runs over him. It's possible. Like, yeah, I know he's gonna try to do that. He has to do that. I don't think he's gonna outbox Boots. I don't think he's gonna box him from the outside and then believe he's gonna outbox him. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll mix it up. He could put some pressure and box, pressure box. Mix it up. But he's not just gonna box him from the outside and let Boots do whatever. I think Boots will pick him apart if he does that.
So you think Sayers is gonna try to go for a knockout?
I think Zayas will at one point or from the beginning, or his main thing is to make the fight, make Boots fight, and yeah, look for a knockout. I mean, if you want to be great, you dare to be great. You want to be great. That's what you got to get, especially in a high caliber fight like that. He gets a knockout, man. He goes big, and he'll be well respected. The Puerto Rican fans will go crazy. They'll love him even more, and he'll prove me wrong. He'll prove me wrong because you know I was wrong. But I don't think he's ready for this moment. I don't think he's ready. But that's what it's about. He feels he is. His team feels he is. His promoter's done good matchmaking and get him to this point. He's fought some good guys, but I don't think he's fought. I don't think he's fought the guys that. I'm not saying Boots has fought really high level guys, but he's fought better opposition. I think. Like Estaniones was. He was like I said, an Olympian. I think he was a good fighter. The Karen guy, he's not a bad fighter. Roman Villa, strong, like just like rugged, strong dude. I don't even think Zayas is strong like that. Well, just of course that was at a lower weight class when he fought Roman Villa. But I remember Roman Villa on Showbox, man. He was destroying guys, dude. Remember he had power. I was really high on him on that guy because man, I thought that guy was just gonna run over people. And when he fought, what happened when he fought Boots? Boots stopped all that, with his skills. It was easy work for him.
I guess I thought Villa had a chance because after Villa beat Speedy Ellis.
Right, right. I was like I said, I was high on Villa because of his strength and just that brute strength. I said, man, this guy's dangerous, but Boots just broke him and outboxed him, and he knew how to stop all that momentum, and he knew how to get in his head, and Villa was couldn't do nothing. he stopped him, right? It was a stoppage, or
Yeah,
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 yeah, seventh round, I believe, if I remember right. I don't know.
yeah, something like that. He did hurt him pretty bad.
Yeah, but
But
I'm excited that the junior middleweight division, that was my division when I was a fighter. I was 154. I'm excited that you got guys like you got some really good fighters, man. Virgil Ortiz, you got Fondura, you got that Josh Kelly guy, you got all these guys, Zayas, Boots, and it seems like they want to unify, they want to get all the belts together, and they want to fight each other, and that's boxing, that's what people want to see. The best fight the best, and don't let that marinate. Don't let that wait till they get older. Like the time is now. Why wait a year from now? Why do it now? And like I said, I know it might be a little bit early for Zayas, but look, he's young. He's got two belts. You can't help it. He's got two belts, and someone wants them. Boots wants those belts, and Zayas wants the belt that Boots has. Like I said, it's really for Zayas, man. It depends on how he loses, but if he loses, he's still young. He'll come back from that. And for Boots, it's the time now to show that he is the guy at 154. I don't know if he is. I'm just saying, like, I think I like Fundura, man. I like Fundura.
well, you just mentioned not too long ago, Mendoza knocking out Fundura. So I think a lot of these guys like Boots Ennis and Zayas, even Virgil Ortiz, they got a chance to beat Fundura. I want to see them
Yeah,
fight him.
absolutely, yeah. I want to see those fights. And I'm sure they're thinking just like Keith Thurman thought that he was going to catch Fundura like Mendoza caught him. He thought that, but that never happened. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. And maybe Virgil Ortiz is thinking the same thing too. But remember, he's a lot younger. He's relentless. He's got power. It's possible, but I think Fundura's tall and he's lanky. He's gotten a lot better. He learned. The thing about it, Fundura, he learned from the Mendoza fight when he got knocked out. He learned from